Yes, I do now.
Love the shirt.
Yeah, I do too. After that, I said we can give it away every night. It looks like that.
Looking at Dylan, a new career high for him, 40 points. Just how impactful was he? And just kind of also just setting the tone for you guys offensively.
Yeah, both sides. Starting matchup. Again, Cade's had such a great season, MVP level. Took that matchup from the get-go, and then offensively, I just thought early our intent offensively was great. Their defense is elite. They're great at protecting the rim, protecting the paint, and we got there early.
Oh, you thought I was
done? Not all the time do you have to finish.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you have to spray out. You just got to read those decisions once you get into the paint, and I thought we were great early. Dylan was a big piece of that. And then, of course, it's just fire, energy, rebounding tonight. I thought he made some good plays when they started to collapse on him. So, yeah, overall, he had a great night. Obviously, career high. And we needed all of them, and we're going to need it again tomorrow.
Coach, just to follow that up, what was it like seeing him in that zone tonight?
Yeah, he was there. He was there early. I felt he was there early. That's what big-time players do. They rise in big-time games. This was a big-time game against a team that has played as well as anyone this year. It's physical, it's tough, it's gritty, and we had to match it. He knows it. So when he leads it by example on both ends of the ball, we feel really good about our chances, especially in this environment at home. His intent from the get-go was high level.
I know you guys have always preached, pace. How would you assess that tonight? It felt like one of the better nights as far as playing with pace tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, really good defense. You try to outrun them, and I don't know if we really felt it until the fourth, and we did feel in the middle of the fourth that they were starting to wear down a little bit. That pass from Royce to Mark obviously sticks out, but just our overall goal to get it into action pretty quick is paramount against a good defense. I thought we did a good job.
Jordan, you talked about Dylan getting the Cade Cunningham matchup initially, the picking up full court, all of those things, but it felt like off the ball, this might have been one of his best games of the season, just making decisions, blowing things up, helping off the corners, all of that stuff. When you have a guy that can play like your middle linebacker almost defensively and just make those decisions on the read, how does that help you be successful consistently on that end?
I think, yes, I agree to all that. I do think there's a piece that you guys don't get to see is like outside of the game, how he communicates on the court in practice or shoot around in our film sessions. Our vets do it. Book is constantly talking to our guys, pouring into the young guys. They've seen so much. Book, Royce, Grayson, and Dylan have seen so much that helps your defense when they're able to pour into it. So he's going to have to do both always. We try to manage, especially on nights like this, when he does take the primary and when we can help him save some energy because we're asking him to do so much offensively. It was not only him that started it, but Goody's minutes on Cade. We're really, the difference in the game when you can take a point of attack guy out for large portions of time. I really thought the middle of the third into the fourth, where they really struggled to score, that was kind of our response to how they came out of the locker room. And that's what we needed. They fought back. They obviously talked about something at halftime and it worked. And then our response from that middle of the third into the fourth was super critical.
And then you mentioned the response piece. The first half, they went to their double big. They got a pretty sizable run that they went on. Come back to it in the second half, it feels like you all are ready to counterpunch it, and it felt like you kind of leveled it off some. How does that speak to just your coaching staff's ability to prepare but also adjust and adapt to what the game is kind of asking for in response from your team?
Yeah, it's not the coach. I mean, it's the guys. Like, you look at our bench plus minus. Goody, also, Ryan's minutes were great. JB's minutes, Isaiah. A lot of the times in our second unit, we're going with maybe just one starter. And a big thing that they have is their size. And when they went two bigs at that point, we have to find a way to rebound. Also, 9 rebounds, 5 defensive. Those things. Isaiah is a really good rebounder. It's something that's not talked about. Isaiah is a really good rebounder. it's always going to come back to, can we be bigger than our actual physical size with that second unit? Offensively, we can really move it, but defensively, can we hold up? This is a test. Those bigs, they have great size across the board. And those two bigs, can we clean the glass enough? And to hold those guys total to 9 offensive rebounds. We got them into second chance points, one of the elite offensive rebounding teams because of their size. Again, we talked about it, but to put it into action, those guys got to go do it.
Hi, Jordan. You mentioned Oso and his rebounding. How valuable is it, his ability just to kind of keep balls alive, whether it leads to an extra offensive possession or at least just keep the other team from grabbing the rebound?
Yeah, and especially, I thought we came up with a lot of those 50-50, especially defensive rebounds. Offensively, he's getting really good at the tip out. I think maybe Tyson Chandler really did that back in his day. He tipping it back, and Oso's found a way to do it, even though he can't. First off, Oso's usually on the perimeter offensively. We're asking him when the shot goes up to get in there, but even when he's down there in the dunker or the baseline side, for him to tip those things out, knowing that he's not totally going to secure the rebound, but just keeping the balls alive, something we've asked him to do, and that's what he needs to do. He's going to be undersized. He's not going to grow anymore, so he's got to find a way to still continue to help us on the glass.
You called those 2 timeouts within the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. What's it been like for you as a coach to be able to just go, okay, like, goody Oso, get in there, like, let's change the defensive intensity of this game?
Yeah, Kellen, I think we had a decision on the second one maybe. Are we going to change the lineup or not? And the coaching staff helped me. And we stuck with those guys. And I thought Mark's response from the third to the fourth quarter was a big piece to what we did in the fourth quarter. We moved them back in there in the fourth to see exactly what his response would be, and he answered. Some of the plays that don't show up in the box score, but him sprinting back, Cade gets caught up in the air. He sees 7-1 Mark Williams. He tries to kick it out, and we end up getting a stop. Like some of those things most 7-1 players can't do. And then obviously the offensive rim run for Royce. So we stuck with them. I thought they slowly started to turn it around our starters. And then again, that second unit, which they've done all season, just took it to a new level.
The end of the third quarter, Dylan was pretty fired up about something, talking to you for a good 20, 30 seconds. How do you describe what that relationship is like with him in-game and just how high the care factor is for him?
Yeah, he told me I sucked in so many words that I messed up the last couple possessions on who to get involved with him, and he was right. He wanted a smaller guy on him, and I was trying to do it a different way. So he was right. I was wrong. But I love it. I mean, it's a lot of times I'm like just smiling, like the emotion, the passion, the care factor from him and really the rest of the guys too, especially in these types of environments to be in those. It's new for me. Like that's a new thing. And I saw Dylan was working last night in the gym. He's working with his guys. So I trust whatever he's saying to me. I trust it's coming from a good place. No matter the emotion, we can filter that out. But he was right, and I was wrong.
Coach, last May, Matt and Brian spoke to building an identity for this team, wanting to have some grit, going out and getting Dylan and having the team and kind of the identity established that quickly. What does it say about the front office's vision and then what Dylan brings to fit it all together?
Yeah, you don't never know what the full package looks like when it comes to games when you're talking in the summer. And I think we've talked a lot about it, just what Dylan brings from day one, land, right to the gym, whether he got changed or wherever, and comes back to the gym on day one. That's what he does. And I'm not sure you can fully grasp all that before you bring them into your place and into your program. But that's what changes programs, players. The players do it. When you have Dylan Brooks that does that, that's who he is. Book is a worker. Grayson, Royce, like all those guys, they set the tone. We can have a vision, we can have an idea, you can have a concept, but to put it into action comes back to the players. So, we're in a good place. We got more to go, but definitely that tone was set early, even before the game started.
Thanks, Coach.
Good, thank you.